Hello there, my name's Annette with Sunbeam Fabric Art. Welcome to my channel. I had another idea that I put on a sticky note, and here it is. I was thinking about dark and light and making a spiral shape that was not rounded but more squared off. I'll definitely leave a link up above and in the description of this video. I cut down over 100 fat quarters into a total of 12 bundles. 6 of the bundles were layer cake bundles, and 6 of the bundles were 2.5-inch strips. Now, the 2.5-inch strips are about the equivalent of 75% of a jelly roll. They're not equivalent to an entire jelly roll. So if you use this idea with a jelly roll or two, you will get more of a throw size quilt. If you want it to be a queen or king size, you're probably going to want to use 3 to 4 jelly rolls. The first thing I had to do to make my idea work out was sorting out my lights and darks, and I did want to shuffle them a little bit. And again, you can see these 2.5-inch strips are not the full length of a width of fabric because they were cut from fat quarters. So I have some pieces that are about 20 inches long, and then I have some other pieces that are a little bit shorter that were cut off of the other end. I did a little bit of figuring to see if I had equal amounts of lights and darks, and they were pretty close, but not exactly equal, and you will see that later. To get started with my idea, I thought it would be easier to just go ahead and sew all the light strips together end to end, and all the dark strips together end to end. When I am making binding and joining 2.5-inch strips together, I will do a diagonal seam, but for this project I am going to just do a straight seam, and that way I'll have no extra waste fabric here. I won't have any little triangles to worry about, and I want to have as much of this fabric in the quilt as I can. And luckily with these skinny 2.5-inch strips, I don't have to break thread to add the next piece. I can just flip the tail end of the previous piece around, put it right sides together with the next piece, and stitch that seam and keep adding and adding until I get all the way through the lights and the darks. Once I got those all stitched together and broke my chains, I pressed all my seams flat to one side. A lot of the projects I do, I've done before. This one I've never done before, so I am going to take it very slow here at the beginning. So if you have made a quilt like this before and you know exactly what I should be doing, you can move on to the next chapter. But I did not know what I was doing. I did not know how this was going to work out, so I took this very slow. Now, the first mistake I made here was not using a dark 2.5-inch square and a light 2.5-inch square to get started. I have no idea why I am doing this. I thought it looked like the picture, I guess. I do have my little sticky note handy, and I keep referring to it, but in this case, I messed this up. It needed to be 2 2.5-inch squares joined together. And here is where I realized, I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute, this is going to be a rectangle. I need it to be a square. I looked at the fabric, I looked at the fabric again, then I got the sticky note out and tried to imagine each individual piece and what I had done wrong. And all I really had to do to this existing piece I started was trim it off. I trimmed it off to a 4.5-inch length, and that gave me a square that was 4.5 inches by 4.5 inches. I want to keep this part of the video in and keep it slow because it is a little bit confusing to get started with this. Next, I'm going to take pieces of my light fabric and go around the square until I need to switch to dark fabric. And there's a trick when you switch colors, and we'll get to that when we get around the square ones. And I had good intentions of using my cutting mat and my ruler to make nice cuts. As you will see later on in this video, I got tired of that and I just started using my scissors to trim approximately the right length as I went along. But at the beginning here, I'm taking a little more time, so I thought I might as well just trim off to the exact size. The next piece of light fabric will be approximately 6.5 inches long because I've got 3 2.5-inch widths minus an inch for the 2 seam allowances. Again, I'm keeping my little sticky note very close and referring to that quite a bit. I need to add one more side of light here, and then we're going to turn it and start adding some of the dark. Now take a look at that bottom side that's facing me. I need a 2.5-inch square of light on the far right, and then I need a strip of the dark that will be attached to that. So what did I do? I cut a 2.5-inch square of dark instead of a 2.5-inch square of light. Oops. Luckily, that is an easy fix. I cut my 2.5-inch square of the light and attached it to the front end of my dark strip. Attaching this first side like this, I definitely want to nest that seam where the light and the dark come together so that I get a nice crisp corner. Now I'll be adding the next 3 sides that will all be dark. Then we'll be around the square again, and we'll have to do the same thing, but this time we'll be adding a dark 2.5-inch square to a light strip. Since my pieces are much smaller than with the fabric strip, I do have a lot more seams than you would have if you try this with the fabric strips. Well, I went a little farther along, and I just wanted to take you along here. So to start with, I've got those 2.5-inch squares joined together, then a 2.5 by 4.5-inch light and dark strip. So that's my 1, 2, 3, and 4 to start the square. Next, I added a 2.5 by 6.5 strip of light on the top and the right. Then I had to add that 2.5-inch square to the front of my dark strip so I could make another round around the square. Then I had to add a 2.5-inch dark square to the front of the light strip to start the next round around the square. And you can see those 2.5-inch square leads are all going to be on the same corner of my giant square. Well, I'm going to go ahead and speed up because I'm just going around the square exactly the same way over and over again until I run out of one fabric or the other. I ran out of the dark first. Here is the end of the dark. I cut off that little strip, but it was time to add light. So I just needed to add a little 2.5-inch square of dark to the light, and I could go another line or two with the light. Here you see me checking the length of the remaining light to see if I can make it around another side or two. As this project got bigger, it got a little bit more difficult to keep everything together. So if you're going to use more than one jelly roll for this type of project, I would definitely start about now using clips or pins for each side and stitching just one side at a time, because it really will tend to slip on you and not stay together as it gets bigger like this. My quilt top is going to be mostly square. I did go ahead and take a minute to trim my corners, my 4 corners, where there was a little bit of overhang. And I did take a minute to do a stay stitch all the way around the outside of the quilt. Then I pressed the quilt top nice and flat. Here's a look at this finished quilt top. I just love it. It really turned out just the way I imagined it would. And I will be showing you a picture here in a sec of the quilt top in black and white, so you can see how important that contrast is between the dark and the light. I think it would be super fun to make this quilt again with a variety of color in the dark. paired up with a single color of the light. I hope you'll leave me a comment and let me know if you will try this quilt top and how would you make it? What colors would you use? Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope to see you back again next time.